Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I am just going to look at my screen of experts here on our Zoom series tonight for a thumbs up. Micah, can you see our PowerPoint presentation okay? Perfect. And you can hear me okay? Excellent. Wonderful, wonderful. Well, again, thank you so much for joining us today for our future focused series as we look at FAFSA and FAFSA verification. Tonight's presentation is actually a second part, to a four-part series. And we are really excited to be able to bring some of this information to you tonight that is incredibly important on the next steps in paying for college. Some of you may have joined us in January when we spoke about scholarships, and tonight's special feature is everything FAFSA and FAFSA verification. My name is Megan Bayard-Carava, and I am the College Access Specialist here with our Muskegon Area School District. And I have four experts with me tonight as we talk about FAFSA and FAFSA verification. And we also have kind of my trusty sidekick here as well, helping us pull off this presentation tonight. So first and foremost, our first expert, Jody Zerlot from MCC. Can you give a wave? Thank you, Jody. Nice to see you. And Mike Belrose from Baker College. Give a wave. Perfect. Megan Liederman from Orchard View High School. Can you give a wave? There's Megan, perfect. And Haley Smolik from Holton High School. Can you give a wave? Excellent. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us tonight in all of our hot topics that we have in financing the next steps after high school. Please know a few notes on our screen tonight that you will be muted and have your video turned off. If I have not noticed that your video is on, please take care of turning that off as well. It's really helpful when we go to record these series so that we can watch them later, knowing that we are just watching certain experts' screens on our computer tonight. We are going to use the chat feature as well. Really appreciate that. If you could ask your questions through chat. And my trusty sidekick that I mentioned, Micah Muda, can you give us a wave? Thank you, Micah. She is going to be helping me monitor our chat tonight. So in case there's any questions along the way, she will either answer them in real time, or we can certainly ask them out loud of our experts and move forward that way. So thank you so very much for monitoring that. And as mentioned, this Zoom tonight will be recorded. So please know and be aware of that. When we look at the chat feature, we are looking at possible another idea for you to use the chat, and that is to certainly let us know who you are, right? We are looking for information in our chat to see what is your role. Are you a student? Are you a parent? Are you a staff member? What high school are you from, right? Let us know. When you registered today, I was able to capture an email address from you, but I don't necessarily know what school you're from or who you are and perhaps why you might be interested in learning more about the FAFSA. So if you could use that chat feature today to let us know, please continue to do that as we proceed on through our presentation. So without further ado, we would like to start making sense of FAFSA together. I have a very short video that I'd like to share with you from a renowned resource that we have called UAspire. And UAspire has an incredible message and really helpful message in understanding what is this thing about FAFSA anyway. Take a peek.
So you want some help paying for college, but you're wondering where to start. To see what kind of help you can receive, you'll need to fill out the FAFSA. First, let's talk about what the FAFSA is. The FAFSA, or the Free Application for Federal Student Aid, is a form required by all colleges and universities for students to apply for financial aid. The application helps to determine your eligibility for federal financial aid, like grants, loans, and work study. Many colleges also use it to determine your eligibility for the financial aid they provide, as well as what your state offers. Students who are interested in receiving financial aid for college or technical school and who are eligible to file the FAFSA based on their citizenship status must complete the FAFSA. For more information on how citizenship status affects eligibility for the FAFSA and federal financial aid, go to studentaid.gov. Now that we know what the FAFSA is and why we need it, let's talk about some essential things to consider before you begin. As explained in the name, the FAFSA is a free application. You should never have to pay to submit it or to get help filling it out. Make sure you use the correct URL when you navigate to the application page. The FAFSA opens on October 1st each year, and it is best to submit your application as early as possible since some financial aid is distributed on a first-come, first-served basis. Deadlines vary based on the state you live in and colleges themselves, so make sure to check with the college financial aid offices for their priority deadlines. You want to fill out the application the year before you plan on attending college or technical school. For instance, if you are a high school senior who will be attending college in the fall of 2021, you should fill out the FAFSA in the fall of 2020. Many students question if they should even bother submitting a FAFSA because they aren't sure if they will qualify for financial aid. The only way to know if you qualify for most types of financial aid is to submit the FAFSA. So we strongly encourage anyone who is planning to attend a college or technical school to submit a FAFSA. You might still be wondering, is submitting a FAFSA one time all I have to do to receive financial aid? While the FAFSA is a critical step toward getting financial aid, it is only one part of the financial aid process. Once you submit your FAFSA, you will need to take additional steps like reviewing your application for errors, sending additional requested documents to colleges, and reviewing your college financial aid offers. Remember, you have to submit a FAFSA every year to receive financial aid. That means if you plan on attending a 4-year college, you will need to submit a FAFSA every year for 4 years or until you graduate. Now that you know why the FAFSA is important, check out our other videos to get started on filling out your application.
So as we start to try to figure out this FAFSA business together, one of the things that we've tried to create here in the Muskegon area is just a quick message about why FAFSA, right? What is it and why is it so important? And one of the things that we came up with is a slogan that it's your affordability ticket, right? It's your way to make sure that those plans after high school are affordable. And it's always on our minds when, especially when we're seniors. So those of you who are commenting tonight that you're seniors from some of our area high schools, there is so much to do in your senior year, and the FAFSA definitely is one of them. But there's really important reasons to understand some of the whys behind it. And when we think about that next step, we want to make sure that we are understanding some of the nuances with something as important as the FAFSA. So we do have some great tools, hopefully that you'll learn from us tonight on, as well as throughout the remainder part of your senior year, or perhaps if some of you are juniors and watching with us tonight, or even parents, hopefully we have great information about why FAFSA and the affordability reason behind it. So we have, like I mentioned, a couple experts in the room, and I'm going to lean on some of them right now, maybe putting you on the spot a little bit, but I'm going to lean on our MCC and our Baker experts right now, and we're going to start with Mike Belrose. So Mike, if you could take yourself off mute and tell us about these first 2 quick facts. Who should apply and how do we go about applying?
Well, thanks, Megan. As everybody heard in the awesome video that we just had, that everybody should apply for the FAFSA on a yearly basis. So no matter if you don't think you qualify for financial aid due to an income level or anything like that, you should still apply for FAFSA. Not only do the school's financial aid offices need to know that information to help determine packages, but sometimes you have scholarship organizations that need it too. So it's something that you should do. It's free. It takes 15 to 30 minutes, out of your October are in this context February, and you can get it done and get that submitted.
Awesome. And then that our hyperlinked spot here for our FAFSA application is directly to that government website, right? And that's the website that we want to drive everyone to. Is that correct?
Yeah, the website, FAFSA.ed.gov and studentaid.gov work really hand in hand together. They're great resources out there. You can set up your FSA ID, which is very important to completing a FAFSA and completing your financial aid process throughout your duration of going to college. So it's a great resource to go out to. Just make sure that you go to that FAFSA.ed.gov page. Don't get tricked into going to FAFSA.com like the video said as well.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much, Mike, for that. I appreciate it. Jody Zerlot from MCC. Can you talk to us a little bit real quickly about when to apply for FAFSA and what may happen after?
Okay, the first deadline for the FAFSA form for the state of Michigan is March 1st. So you should have your FAFSA form submitted by that deadline. One thing that video also mentioned was some schools have an earlier deadline, or they have their own deadlines. There are a few schools in the state of Michigan that have a priority deadline before that March 1st deadline. As it mentioned, some awards are first come, first serve basis, but that state deadline is for certain scholarships the state of Michigan offers to you. There's also a federal deadline of June 30th. And that just means that FAFSA form is done for that particular year. If you happen to miss your state deadline or a school's priority deadline, that doesn't mean don't fill out that FAFSA. Fill it out anyway. It just may take a little bit longer to process it because of the timing when you get it submitted. And I believe we will go into our own priority deadlines for Baker and MCC coming up.
Perfect. And how about that verification? Generally speaking, what do we know about verification?
Well, if you are one of the lucky ones to get selected for verification, it's nothing you did wrong. Necessarily, if there's something that's conflicting on your FAFSA form, the U.S. Department of Education requires schools to verify the information you put on your FAFSA. It may be you got selected because we're required to do 30% of our student population. MCC, for example, we verify roughly 40% of our students. And again, it doesn't mean you did something wrong. It's just we have to prove what you put on that FAFSA form and make sure it's correct. We may ask you for copies of your tax returns. We may ask you to verify the number in your household. Who are your family members? Are they going to college? That's what would happen next. Or if you were not selected for verification, you may receive your award letter.
Awesome. It's that almighty buzzword of accountability, right?
Correct.
And even our colleges are held to accountability. And so before any of that free money is given away, remember the FAFSA is all about free money, is we have to be accountable to that. So verification does come into play for many of our students, and most likely many of you watching our presentation tonight. So thank you so much. Jody, you are still up. Our next slide is some kind of tidbits on policies and processes for MCC. Can you walk us through some of your institution-specific notes?
Yes, if you are a student at MCC, you're going to hear a lot about the student portal or your online one-stop shop kind of thing. If you go to our general website, www.muskegoncc.edu, that gold bar across the top there is on the right-hand side of our website. And over to that far right, My MCC, you will receive at orientation, you will receive your login information, and that is your self-help portal for everything. You will see a financial aid checklist in there, and it's color coded. So if it's green, you're likely you could view your award letter. If it's yellow, there's a spot called the financial aid checklist. It's going to tell you documents that we still need. You click on the link and you'll be able to fill out that form online and it gets automatically emailed to us. You would be able to see your bill at this point. You could see scholarships. That My MCC, you're going to see what classes you need to take. It's really your portal to everything MCC related. MCC has a few different priority deadlines. The fall is May 1st. And what our priority deadlines mean is we want you to apply by May 1st if you're planning to come to MCC in August. We will do our very best if you follow through with all information coming to us to make sure you're awarded before you begin classes. That May 1st allows us time to upload your FAFSA, see if you're selected for verification, and get communication out to you as to what we may need back. And along with that, communication and follow-up is so important at this point. Several of you may already know or think you may receive scholarships such as the Muskegon Promise or the Tuition Incentive Program, a program that you know is going to cover your tuition. Filling out the FAFSA may not be all you need to do. With MCC, we will first communicate with you through the United States Postal Service or snail mail. And it'll be a letter telling you what we need from you. Our letter now tells you how to log back onto My MCC and complete missing documents that we may need. And by missing documents, it's those verification documents. If we don't receive follow-up from you, you will receive emails after that asking you for those same documents. It is important that you read the information you get. You will receive a lot of email, especially now working remotely or virtual students. Everything is communicated via Zoom or email. It's just important that you follow up with what is there. And if you get information and you're not sure, contact the financial aid office that what school you're planning to attend. It's really important to get the information from the school. Your best friend may be attending that same school. Your neighbor may be attending that same school. Everyone's situation is different. So asking them, while they may steer you in the right direction, it's really important that you talk to the school what school you're going to get the correct information and what you need to fill out and what your situation has in line for you. You also will get your award letter sent to you in the mail. And many scholarships or scholarships you're applying for may ask for a copy of that. You can get that again on My MCC on your award letter page, and you can print another copy of that as well. Something that is important to know: once you enroll in college, you are protected by privacy rights as a student. It's similar to HIPAA. I can't call and get medical documentation for Megan. And parents, it's important for parents to understand this as well. You won't be able to call on behalf of your student without certain documents filled out giving you permission to do so. And it's up to the student to fill those forms out and get them back to the school if they choose to do so. This even means the student's bill or invoice for tuition. You can't call and ask us if they've received a student loan because we can't tell you without that student's permission, and it can't just be over the phone. It actually has to be in writing. So again, students, once they enroll in college, they are protected by privacy rights, and they should be the one doing the communications with us. Oh boy, that was a lot. Did I miss something?
Well, we had a question come in that was really spot on to one of the things that you were covering. Generally, when do award letters come out? When do we hear about that?
Okay, so we were just looking at our fall 21-22 school year. So this upcoming school year, we are just beginning the process of uploading those new FAFSAs that students completed So we're hoping for our first round of award letters to go out probably late March
Awesome.
for next
Awesome.
year.
Late March. And either Haley or Megan Letterman, as college advisors working in high schools, are award letters for other institutions outside of MCC or Baker coming out earlier? Do our students hear about award letters earlier than March? Either of you could answer.
Yes, so it's going to depend a lot on the institution. I was just in a webinar with Ferris, and I believe theirs are already coming out. So it's always important to check your email, check your mail, and to even create a portal on the school that you apply to see if those have come out yet.
Got it. Perfect. Thank you very much, Haley, for answering that. Awesome. I don't see any other current questions that are pressing, unless Micah, correct me if I'm wrong. If I've missed something, please interrupt. Otherwise, I'm just going to continue to press forward. Love that information shared by MCC. As participants tonight, you will receive all of our follow-up information, including our PowerPoint slides that will give you direct access to these links. So you can go and fiddle around on the system or check out certain things that either of our experts from MCC or Baker are talking about tonight. So just please know that those links will be live for you. Mike Belrose, you're up from Baker College. Similar, your policies, your processes, what can we expect from Baker when it comes to FAFSA or verification?
Okay, yeah, so we have a very similar portal name, I guess, in a sense. We have a front-facing, non-student-based baker.edu, where, as an applicant is where you'd be going. But when you become a student at Baker, most everything should be directed to our student portal, student service portal, my.baker.edu. This is where your academic registration, bills, 1098Ts, FERPA form to be able to sign online, and the financial aid student service portal is at. So that's the most important website to get to once you become a student at Baker. This portal, again, just like MCC, it requires that you have a sign-on and a password to get in. So it's important to get through that enrollment process, or that accepted in through our admissions process at Baker, to be able to get in and start using this portal. But you do, submit a FAFSA prior to having your, application reviewed at most institutions. So we do still reach out to students, even if they aren't fully accepted at Baker. And when we first get those, our initial email goes either to, if they're an accepted student, to their Baker email, or if they're a non-accepted student, we'll actually be sending the email that we have on their application that we received at Baker. That's the email that we'll use until a Baker email.
You can't turn the volume on once you're.
And then once you are a Baker student, all communications go through your Baker email. We don't use any other emails that are listed on FAFSA or on any application. So you have to make sure you're always checking that Baker email. Our award letters, we did start sending those out, I believe, last week to new students that aren't Pell eligible. So we go out in segments depending on what kind of award letter we're sending to them. So we have started that process. And for our new students, we do mail their first award package to them. And then any subsequent award letter, when there's revisions, or if you're a returning student, those are all just available via our student portal. So that new one does come in the mail with some information about their program, especially if they go into our Culinary Institute or something of that nature, where there's a little bit additional costs and things that they need to be made aware of. Our verification right now, because we are remote, as Jody said, for MCC, it is very important that you're checking your email and checking your missing items, soon, because there's a delay in getting things in. We have certain verification documents that have to be mailed to, and we have our central processing center in Owasso, where most of those documents have to be mailed to. So luckily it's after Christmas now, so hopefully snail mail is moving a little bit quicker and can get there a little quicker, but it definitely was the delay leading up to our, our winter semester, our spring semester, as we call it, to get all their documents in. So because we're not on campus, it is a little bit harder. You do have the ability to upload all your documents into our student portal. We don't recommend that you email them into any of us because that is, a possible security, security issue, and we want to make sure everything's being submitted as secure as possible. So either via the mail or via the student portal is the best way to get your documents for verification to us. I always like when Jody goes first because then she covers covers most everything for me. But that's really the gist of what we have.
The portals are so handy. They have come a long way, right? Year after year, I feel like we get better and better in keeping things in one spot for our students, whether we're uploading documents that might be needed for verification or downloading our award letters. I really just feel like they've come a long way in helping to keep our students organized. I am kind of noticing one common thread, and that's email. That's electronic, right? And one of the things that we see time and time again with my work in the Office of the Promise, or with the work that I'm hearing from you all described today, Jody and Mike, is that we communicate really largely through email. And so we need to make sure we're reminding our students that they have to check their email for really important reminders or deadlines or updates or needs or tasks, right? And so that's really, really important. And so often, sometimes in high school, we don't necessarily use email all the time. And so this is a kind of a trick that our seniors, soon to be college students, are sometimes learning to master. But we'll continue to really recommend that practice. Check your email, use it often, and lean on it. It looks like we have tonight on our call another college advisor. We have a ton of college advisors, you guys, in the Muskegon area. And Jordan from Montague had reminded me that some of our private colleges have different practices when it comes to award letters, right? And it's things like that personal conversation that might be happening about, are you applying for other scholarships? Do you have any other intentions? While they're looking to plan their package for you, it's really important that you're communicating that back and forth. And again, electronic might be that key ticket, right? You will be working with those staff and the advisors or the experts in that institution that you might be choosing as that next step. So it's really important to stay connected with them. Thank you both very much for sharing that. Both MCC and Baker are our number one institutions that Muskegon community students go to, right? Life after high school, hands down, it's our community college, and then Baker College, of course, in town. And so we're really thankful that you guys join us time and time again to talk about your institutions and to talk about how you all can help in some of the work that we're looking for as well. Micah, again, I'm just going to say interrupt me if you need to with any questions that you may see pop up. Some of the things that I want to make sure I share with everybody on our Zoom series tonight is there always is more to learn, especially with FAFSA. And as we were preparing for tonight, I was kind of thinking in my head, oh my goodness, we have so much to cover in 45 minutes, right? And it's just a big topic. There's a lot to consider. And so I want to provide just some cursory knowledge of more ways you can learn about FAFSA, or more ways you can learn about that next step in completing the application. And first up on your screen is Zello. Some of you who joined us for our scholarship series heard me talk about Zello as well. And Zello is a tool that we use in all of our high schools across the county. 14,000 students all having Zello accounts in all of our high schools, middle schools as well. And one of the things that we have the capability of is having college planning provided, especially for our juniors and our seniors. So what you see here is a mock dashboard using my name, Megan, on what you can see of what a Zello dashboard might look like. But you can see where I'm circling here, there's a goals and plans area with college planning, okay? And in that college planning, it looks like this. You might find areas of college applications or local scholarships, or what we call the Knowledge Hub. And the Knowledge Hub is where we're going to find all things FAFSA under Zello. You can see here on the right hand side, if I get into that Knowledge Hub and click on FAFSA, I can learn even more about how to create that FSA ID that Mike talked about, or how to apply early as soon as it opens up in October, right? I can learn the basics about what it is I need to understand. So juniors on the call tonight, on the Zoom tonight, please lean on your Zello accounts. They will be really key in helping you understand what this craziness about FAFSA might be like as you are become a senior. Seniors on the call, some of you may have your FAFSA done already. And so you're just learning a little bit more about verification, which is also wonderful. So our last experts with us tonight are our two college advisors, and I briefly introduced them, Haley from Holton and Megan from Orchard View. And I want to share a little bit about what they do and then allow them to talk more about what they can do for the rest of you who might be listening tonight. As a community, as a county, we track our FAFSA completion as a whole. And one of the reasons we do that is we really have a bold goal to make sure that our families are financially ready for that next step in life after high school. And so we have adopted a goal that we would track our FAFSA completion efforts. Because if a student is heading off to a 2-year, 4-year, or any other trade program that accepts federal or state aid, we want them to complete that FAFSA. We certainly want them to tap into those free dollars. And so our college advisors that we have in our community help us with that tracking. They help us in monitoring what's going on in their high schools. How many seniors have completed the application? How many seniors still have to do something? How many seniors might need help in understanding what verification is or looks like? And we have ways for them to track that. We have ways for them to use, again, online portals for them to understand. So as we look at tracking our FAFSA work, our college advisors really, like I said, help us do that. We have a My SSG account through the Michigan Scholarships and Grants Department, and we also have a FAFSA tracker. And one of the things that I will let our ladies chat about is what they do for students utilizing perhaps those two platforms, but then also the advising they have. I mentioned our state website, our state scholarships and grants, who also have college financial aid nights. You may register for them. If I go backwards here, you'll see a link to register for some of those sessions. So again, in our follow-up information, you could register for future nights. Looks like we've got one tomorrow and then on the 16th, 18th, or 23rd. But let's let our college advisors chat a little bit. So maybe we'll start with Haley from Holton. Talk to us a little bit about maybe what you do for FAFSA efforts in a quick way, and then a little bit about how you're participating in virtual office hours.
Yeah, so hi again, my name is Haley and I'm the college advisor at Holton High School, and I'm affiliated with the Michigan State College Advising Corps. So what I do, I'm very fortunate and I have a very, very tiny caseload. I have 46 seniors this year. So what I do is I focus a lot on one-on-one with students. I pull students out of class, I meet with them one-on-one, and we work on the FAFSA. This year is a little different. So I also meet with parents over like Google Meet or over phone to kind of get the documentation and the FAFSA done that way. And as Megan will go more into, you can also schedule an appointment if you are a family outside. There are 5 college advisors in the county, so you might be at a high school that doesn't have a college advisor, and you could have an opportunity to sit down with one of us and work with us the same way that we work with our families.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a great point. Not all high schools have a Haley or have a Megan, right? Not all high schools have a Jordan. Jordan, I know your face is not on the screen tonight, but we are lucky to have several college advisors. But what we are even luckier to have is those college advisors we do have that can serve a high school are willing to serve more. And so our virtual office hours are in place to do just that. And I am going to now invite Megan to talk a little bit about what she does at Orchard View, and then how virtual office hours came to be, right? What is it that we are looking to do with our office hours project?
Hello, so my name is Megan Letterman, and I'm the college advisor at Orchard View High School. I basically do things that are similar to Haley's school, except I have about 3 times the caseload. And so what that entails is sometimes it's more groups of kids at once, or trying to send out mass emails to kids and getting responses. A lot of what I'll do is incentivize. So for example, I'm doing a drawing for Target, Amazon, and Bed Bath & Beyond gift cards. And then later on in the rest of February and March, I might be doing something that's more parent-based. And so something for parents and students for schools that do not have a college advisor and need that extra help filing the FAFSA, or want to talk about if they got any award letters and don't know what they mean, is scheduling a virtual office hour with one of us being me, Haley, Jordan, the advisor at Montague, and Colin, the advisor at Reese Puffer. As you can see, our Bitmojis. So this virtual office was sent out by Micah to all the counselors in the county. And this is something that the counselors hopefully have shared with you guys. And what you can do is if you click on the bulletin board that says schedule an appointment here, it will lead you to a Calendly page, which will sign you up to an appointment with one of us, being me, Colin, Haley, or Jordan. And it'll be through Google Meet. And there are different slots available depending on the time of day. I think I covered it all.
You did. And again, this PowerPoint is hyperlinked, and you'll be able to link right to that Calendly from this particular PowerPoint, as well as you can see in our virtual office hours, along with the Bitmojis that Megan had talked about, there are several links, right? One, the links to all of our high schools we serve, but two, the Promise for more information, the Community Foundation for more information, College Board, right? Our transcript request, our Zello. So we've got a lot of different things here for our students that we can use. And the really great thing is that we're sharing it widely, and it's available for all of our schools, even without a college advisor. So if there are no college advisors, this might be something for you to look at and to share with others and let folks know about. But it's also something to remind you to ask a high school counselor about as well. Speaking of counselors, we have a wonderful opportunity for any of our counselors or college advisors on the call through our Michigan College Access Network. And they too are hosting financial aid updates. In this whole crazy world of pandemic learning, right, we have lots to learn about what are our colleges expecting of their incoming freshmen or their transfer students. And so with these financial aid updates, we are able to hear from college specific. So we might be able to learn what is it that Michigan State University is expecting about their financial aid updates, or Grand Valley or Wayne State, right? Very specific updates to those institutions in particular. So if you're a staff on the call tonight, I encourage you to take a look at some of what that has to offer. Of course, we have our series that will continue, also another way to continue to learn, right? In January, we covered scholarships. Tonight, we covered the general purpose knowledge between FAFSA and FAFSA verification. But we also have Muskegon Area Promise coming up as our March webinar topic. And lastly, Making It Happen. And Making It Happen in April is about those award letters. It's about understanding how to accept your offer, or maybe even making that decision. Sometimes our students are still making decisions in the months of April and May, and we want to make sure that everyone is armed with all the great information to help make those decisions seem a little bit easier. So hopefully some of you can join us for those upcoming webinars as well. And lastly, tonight, we have our awesome opportunity to do a scholarship drawing. And one of the things that Micah and I thought of, because we have so many in the drawing, is to do a wheel of names. Okay. And we had so many that were in our call tonight and registered for our FAFSA and our FAFSA verification webinar, that, you know, be a pretty deep fishbowl, as I like to say, or a deep hat of pulling out a name. And so we went electronically, just kind of embracing some of the love that we have and some of the apps that we have. And I've entered everyone's name into the wheel. And all I have to do is hit a quick spin, and that's going to be our lucky winner. Remember, we do have to have presence to win. So somebody has to have attended our webinar in order to win our $500 scholarship. And parents are allowed to win as long as they are giving it to their student, right? Unfortunately, if a counselor is in on the draw, we will respin, okay? So let's take a look without any further ado. Mark. Awesome. So with Christopher, we will make sure that we certainly get in touch with him and his family and talk about those next steps with the scholarship. Micah, is there any last minute questions that we should wrap up before we allow our families to go on with their evening tonight?
I'm not seeing any, but certainly if anyone has any questions, please go ahead in the chat.
Perfect. Well, I certainly appreciate it. As I mentioned, we'll do a follow-up email for those in attendance, sending our PowerPoint, sending our links to the future series that we have with Paying for College. I give a really strong thank you to Michael Belrose and Jody Zerlot and Megan Letterman and Haley Smolik for helping us tonight. Jordan, I know we didn't get to see your face up in Montague as our college advisor, and Micah, certainly appreciate your help as well. With that, I wish you well on this Wednesday evening. I hope you all enjoy and look forward to seeing you again soon.